Hi guys, so before I start the video, I have done the duck races, which is how I determined the winners for the giveaway from last episode. So well done to Detnu King for winning the Steam version and Wachu27 for winning the Quest version. I've already sent messages to those two. Well, thank you for everyone who took part in the giveaway. Here's the video. Hi everyone, and welcome back to episode 3 of the Hype Train. Got a bit of a cough, so my voice is a bit not quite there, but here I am, and today I'm here to talk to you about the enemies of Into the Radius 2. Now, the enemies in the first game, they were criticised for having them too similar to each other and having the black texture, and that's something that they wanted to address in the second one. It was quite simple as well with the AI. They see you, they shoot you, the commandos would run around a lot, but other than that, it was very basic, and again, that's something else that they wanted to look at. So we're going to take a look today to see what the devs had to say about this, and I'm going to give my insight as well. And so the first thing is going to be the appearance. So yes, they did admit in their dev diaries that they were criticised for having all the enemies look too similar and to have that black texture. And I admit, even after countless playthroughs, I still don't know the difference between a Mimic SWAT or a Mimic Marksman until they start firing and I can hear what gun they're using. But just from the sight of them, I can't tell really the difference apart between most of the end game enemies. But CM Games have given us this information from their dev diaries. Just like in Into the Radius 1, there will be several types of mimics that differ visually in their combat behaviour and the weapons they use. Now, they are not just dark silhouettes, but strange creatures created by the Radius in the image of humans, each with a unique appearance. So we have been given some snippets of enemies, which I will show you now, and you can see that, yes, we no longer have the black outline, and they are kind of given this almost human effect. So I think they look a bit more similar to the faces of the sliders from the first one, but obviously they now have uniforms and they look a lot more human than they did in the first one. So it also means it's good news if you're facing enemies at night, because I don't know about you guys, I can't see them at all in the first game. If I'm shooting them at night time, they just blend into the background. Boom, they just disappeared completely. So an updated look is something that I think we can all agree that we would welcome. And if you see a group of enemies standing together, and if you've got your sniper sights on them, for example, it'd be good to know which of those is the most dangerous and you can take this one out first. I know that's quite a specific example, but I mean, hey, there's a reason why generals were targeted in World War II. And as for the monsters, the only thing I can find so far is the new look of the Spawn, which was in the teaser trailer, and I mentioned this in episode 1 of the Hype Train. And I'm keen to see what the new looks are for Seekers and Sliders, for example. But there'll be more information to come, I'm sure. Now, the next topic I wanted to talk about is, I think, the biggest one, because I think it was the biggest weakness of the first game. So I think the biggest strength of the first game was the atmosphere and the world they created. I think the weakness was enemy AI, because, like I said, very similar and very basic. So the monsters, I think, fair play. They see you, they make a straight line for you. I think we could agree that for a monster AI, that seems fair enough. But for mimics, this is something that they've really dedicated to improve, and I think that's fantastic. That's a brilliant use of their time, because some of these enemies you'd be facing at night and they would still see you from a mile away. They all had eagle eye vision. Stealth was basically non-existent, and I know that that's something that I would personally like to see in the second one, an option to be a little bit sneakier and to have that as an effective way of playing the game. So yes, new AI is definitely something that I'm very excited about. Now, I spoke about AI in episode 1 as well, which was the firing pattern that we can see on this little snippet from the teaser trailer. Now, this more constant stream of almost suppressing fire is something that we haven't really seen before. So right away we know that enemy aggression is probably something that's been updated as well. But it goes a lot deeper than this. To quote the diary entry, mimics are humanoid creations of the Radius. They imitate the behaviour of military personnel, patrolling areas, taking cover and positions, working as a team, and relaying information to their comrades. We strive to make their AI as realistic and believable as possible. Currently, 2 team members dedicate all their working time to developing it. This is a long and complex process, so work on the AI will continue until full release. Music to my ears. 2 team members working full-time on just AI. I think that's so good for making the biggest leap possible between Game 1 and Game 2. And I think AI is their way of doing that. I'm really excited to see what we get. But let's take a look at what they've actually told us. So it's not just firing patterns, obviously we can see that from the snippet. We'll likely see improved AI for enemies both in combat and out of combat. So the only thing out of combat really is that we'll now see enemies with patrol routes. So it seems that in the first game there were 2 AI modes for like mimics who were walking about. They would either just walk about randomly and, you know, in theory they could make their way from one end of the map to the other just by a random like roaming AI, but there's also enemies that guard a particular area and will walk around in there. So like in the greenhouse area in Kolkhoz, for example, they stay in there, they walk around inside it, but they don't leave. So those were the 2 different types, but now it seems that we actually have a patrol route as a 3rd type, so some enemies will be given this patrol route. But in combat, it seems that this is something that they could be working a lot more on. So yes, in the first game, all the enemies, when they start shooting at you, they behaved independently. They just run around, almost seemed as if they weren't really looking for cover. They would just run until they stopped and shot you, and sometimes they were wide out in the open. So I think we can expect them to be finding cover a lot better in the second game compared to the first. And this concept of them working as a team, I can't imagine how difficult it must be to get enemy AI to work as a team. I'm really intrigued to see what this entails, because I don't know what working as a team means. Maybe they're more organized, maybe they try and flank you, but either way, I'm hoping that this makes missions like Operation Cleanup a lot more dangerous and kind of thought-provoking in the second game compared to the first one. But this new Mimic AI is still going to be kept separate from the monster AI. So enemies like Spawns, Fragment Seekers, I think, you know, they won't behave in quite such an organised fashion, which definitely makes sense. You know, it worked in the first one, I think, the monster AI. It was just a Mimic AI that I think really needed that boost. And as for new types of enemies, I'm afraid I have no news for you. This is either something that CM Games is keeping close to their chest, they don't want to divulge information, or they've simply carried on with the concepts that they've already got from the first one. Either way, I don't know, I'm just speculating. So, who knows, maybe armoured sliders.
No! God, please, no! No!
But thank you everyone for watching. Well done to those 2 who won the codes. I've already sent messages to you guys. And thanks again for CM Games for providing codes for that giveaway. That was a bit of fun. And I'll see you in episode 4.